Switch Station 32 back for another video. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, if you leave a like and a subscribe, share the videos, leave your comments. Try to get back to everybody. And today we're going to be doing Final Fantasy Ultimania Archives Volume 2. Now, I already did Volume 1 and that's already up on the channel if you guys want to go back through the videos and watch that one. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, so I was really happy to get this collection. My girlfriend got me Volume 1 for Christmas last year. This year she got me Volume 2 and Volume 3. I was really happy to have the whole, now I have the whole set. And these are great books if you're a Final Fantasy fan. If you're an art fan, they're great books too. It starts right off with Final Fantasy VII. Goes over all the titles, what it came out on, PlayStation 1, how it came out in Japan. The reason, I don't know if anybody knows the backstory to this, but one of the big reasons why Final Fantasy left Nintendo and went with PlayStation in the first place is because of this game, Final Fantasy VII. Nintendo 64 went with cartridges, and they couldn't put video clips in cartridges. So Final Fantasy, Square Enix decided to go with Sony because they thought they would have to downgrade their game if they put it on the Nintendo 64, and that's what ultimately made Square Enix leave Nintendo, especially with the Final Fantasy, but a lot of other titles left Nintendo for a while too. The artwork, look at that artwork, that's just gorgeous. And for you guys that are just new to the channel, Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. Goes over the story and the characters and hand sketched and how they became, they drew them and then turned them into the character. That's really, really cool. Goes over the characters. Look at all the hand-drawn sketches of Cloud and how he ultimately became what he is. There's the bike. Tifa. Her hand sketches, Aerith, and the artwork for Aerith, and it goes over all the characters in the game. There's Barrett. Really cool stuff. I just love all this art. Gotta show you Sephiroth. Now, I didn't play Final Fantasy VII on the PS1 because I never had a PS1 when I was a kid. I had the Nintendo 64, that's what I wanted. And I didn't get to play this game until I got a PS2. But one of the very first games I played on the PS2 was Final Fantasy VII. I played Gran Turismo 3 and Final Fantasy VII. They were my first two games I played on the PlayStation 2 just as soon as I got it. I was so excited to play this. One of my friends had this game, and I used to go up there to his house and watch him play it, so I knew what the game was about, but I didn't know all the storyline and stuff. We used to hang out and watch each other play games and talk about games, and we loved games. I was so jealous of him playing this game. It was actually his game that I played, because just as soon as I got my PS2, I borrowed it from him, played a little bit of Gran Turismo, and then I went right into this. Even the side characters, it shows how they are in the game and how they hand sketched. And it has the maps in it. Even a hand sketched version of the map. Really cool. I can't wait for Final Fantasy VII, the remake, part 2, to get to the open world part of it. That's going to be so awesome. Goes over all the monsters. And in the new one, Final Fantasy VII Remake, this is one of the first ones you fight, so that's really cool. The ultimate weapons, extra content. And this game had everything in it. For a young kid that loved adventure games, this game had everything. Like planes, submarines, open worlds, linear. It was an amazing game. Chocobos. It even has hand sketches of storyboards for all the games that it covers in this game. These books are really, really cool for people that are into this. This is cool. All the different logo ideas. And the same thing for Final Fantasy VIII. It's a nice art. Now this one I wasn't the biggest fan of. It's one of the only Final Fantasy games that I wasn't a huge fan of. But it did have good parts of it. Some people really like this game too. And it did get upgraded to the PS4 too, so you can get this too. And never did finish this one. I gotta go back and finish this game. All the hand sketches and the character artworks. Story. Same thing for all the main characters in this game as well. The art in these books is just amazing. I love how it shows the sketches and how they became what they were in the game. The world maps. And for anybody playing a game on the PlayStation 1, going from Super Nintendo to PlayStation 1 and seeing these maps, it was amazing. The monsters. And it even has extra content. The hand-drawn storyboards for Final Fantasy VIII. And then it goes right into Final Fantasy IX. In Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy VII is, as far as like once it jumps up to PlayStation, is my favorite one. But my favorite art style is 9. It's Final Fantasy VII for the story and the gameplay and all the events that unfolds and some twists and turns in it. It just Final Fantasy VII is my favorite one of them ones. But once it gets to 9, 9's my favorite art style so far. It's probably my favorite art style of all the games, to be honest with you. I really, really like this one. I love that Final Fantasy 16 is going back to the knight style of Final Fantasy, going back to its roots. Story and the characters. This one don't have as much hand sketches of the characters for whatever reason, but still cool. And this one does have a really good story too. I think this story is underrated. It's a really good story. This is some people's favorite Final Fantasy game in the whole series. Some people even say Final Fantasy VII is the overrated one, and this is the best one. The PlayStation 1 had so much great RPGs on it. Look at that, that's awesome. Great twist with this character, Steiner. Look at that, that's beautiful art. If you love the history of Final Fantasy, these are the books to go with. Such good stuff in these books. Like, look at that. That's awesome. Fat Chocobo. The world map. There's some houses. It's just nice, really nice stuff. I kind of want to replay this on the Switch and handheld. You really got a lot of art of the world for Final Fantasy IX in here. The monsters. Extra content, and extra content's pretty cool. All the different floating ships and stuff. When you're a kid playing these are awesome. Goes over the weapons. So much cool stuff in this book. And then creators' voices, and it has 2 or 3 pages of this stuff too for anybody who's interested in reading all this stuff and what their thoughts of why they're making the games. That'll be Switch Station 32 back for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you're looking for a review of the first one, I already got that video up on the channel. The third one's going to be coming up soon, and stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed the content, if you leave a like and a subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. Leave your comments. I love to read your comments about anything at all that you're into nerdy, art, games, books, anything you want to talk about at all. Leave it in the comments. I love talking to you guys. And that'll be Switch Station 32 back for another video.